Hey, how's it going? It's Craig. I'm out in the garage and today my Neo Geo system's developed a fault. Let's take a look. Okay, so this is my MVS 1 slot. I think it's a... I've got it written down here because I keep forgetting it. MV1FZS. So it's a pretty basic 1 slot Neo Geo Jamma connector. So this is your Jamma arcade connector that connects into your arcade cabinets. And then you slot your MVS cart into here, your Neo Geo game into here. So this is what a lot of arcades have had in the past. If they were converted from a standard Jamma cab and they wanted to put Neo Geo games in there, you had to have some kind of interface. This is a 1 slot, just takes 1 cart in here. You can get 2 slots, I think you can get 4 and 6 slots as well, where you can switch between the games. But 1 slot's always done it well for me, and I quite like taking the games in and out and swapping them over, a bit like you would with a console. So this is a MVS cartridge. It's got 2 PCBs inside there. A lot bigger than your standard card. So if I put this aside and show you against, there's a real PAL example. Star Wing on the Super Nintendo, so not Star Fox, Star Wing. That's got a single PCB inside there. This one's got 2, and look at the size difference. Absolutely massive compared to them. But that is a home entertainment system. This is a commercial arcade game system. So this has got the quality of a full Neo Geo system on there. That game is The King of Monsters, a brilliant game, I love that game. So basically that slots into here. Slots in, pushes in nice and tight, and then that's your system. So that's your, basically, you get consoleized versions of these. A lot of people buy them where they've been converted to plug into a SCART socket, an RGB SCART, and then plug in a joystick into it and they play them at home systems. So they convert these to home, but this one goes in my arcade cab just by here. And yeah, I can't play it at the moment because it's got this fault. So let's plug it into the arcade. Maybe I'll leave King of Fighters in there. We'll plug it into the arcade. I'll show you the error that's on screen, and then we'll talk through a couple of options. This is definitely a part 1 or 2 because I know I'm going to have to order some parts, but we'll plug it into the arcade, have a look at it, then we'll do a little bit of fault finding over on the desk. Cool, catch you in a sec. Okay, so this is inside of a Jamma arcade cabinet. So basically we've got our power supply. That's our main switching power supply that we've got in here. There's a couple of fuses, and then there's the power transformer for the monitor, and then your power input. This is your Jamma connector. So if you've not seen one of these before, it's basically an edge connector which connects all of your controls. So all of these are wired for the buttons, and then these are ground, and 5 volts and 12 volts and everything else is down here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to connect this in. Hopefully we can do it without blocking it on camera. It does go a certain way round, and you've got to make sure it's on the right pins. A little bit fiddly sometimes, but that's pretty much it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just leave that there at the moment. Normally I would have this screwed into the wall just so it's out of the way. Then I'm going to power it on. I've got a little power switch up here. I'm going to power switch up here, and then you can see the red light comes on in there. So we know the system's working. I can see the power supply on there is working as well. But when we come up to our screen, okay, so up at the monitor, this is the error we're getting. It's a standard backup RAM error. You might get different numbers and things on there, but I think it means pretty much the same thing, that we're going to have a look at the backup RAM. There is a way around it which we'll have a look at in a second, but first of all, let's take it back to the bench, open it up and have a look. Cool. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is take out the 4 screws and take this thing apart. I've never taken this apart at all, even for cleaning, which is not like me. Whenever I buy something like this, I normally take it apart and clean it, but this one's never been apart before, since I've had it anyway. So I'm guessing there's been some work done on it. I'll show you the bottom quickly before I take all 4 screws out. So on the bottom there's a jumper wire going across, so somebody's done something at some point. But we're just going to take it apart, have a look inside. Okay, so that's all 4 legs off. This should just lift off now. Put that out the way. There we go. So I'm going to take this in the house and I'm going to give this a good scrub in the sink because it's just plastic and it's really grubby. So I'm going to give that a good clean up separately, so we'll do that in a bit. Okay, so now we've got it out of our system. It's pretty clean. I'm pretty chuffed how nice and clean it is inside it, to be honest. There's a lot of hot glue on here, very neat compared to my hot glue, and I'm a mess with the hot glue gun. This is the area basically we got an issue with. So this is our backup battery, stores your dates and times and everything else, keeps it on the system for you. And then these 2 RAM chips here, this is your backup area. So as you can see, a bit of dust under there, but backup area. These two RAM chips are the ones which have failed, so we're going to need to have a look at what part numbers they are, see if we can order some in, and we'll replace those two and the battery at some point in the future. Certainly want to get the battery out there because obviously old batteries can leak and we don't want it leaking onto our board. For today, what we can do is we can trick this system into thinking that these are fine by changing this BIOS chip. So this is the main BIOS chip on the board. It's socketed already, which is really cool, so we can take that chip out. And then I bought off of eBay, and this came from China, as you can see. So this is a programmer for ROM chips. You can basically take a chip like that, put it in here, read it, put it onto your computer and back it up. That's what a lot of arcade ROMs are. That's basically what it is. When you're playing a ROM on your system, whether it's on a Xbox or anything else or MAME, basically somebody has taken all of the chips off of an arcade PCB, read the details off of these and then put them onto a computer program, and that's basically what a ROM is. So what we've got here today is a programmer. I've got a spare blank chip, hopefully blank and hopefully working. I bought that off eBay, but I bought this programmer off of eBay as well from China. I've never used it, I haven't even taken it out of the box properly yet. But basically what happens is, to get that out of the way, you put this up, you slot your chip into here, and obviously lock it into place, connect a bunch of cables and things into this, connect it up to your PC, you write the code across from the PC onto this, then we swap them out, jobs are good, and that should all be up and running. But I've never used this before, never figured it out, so I'm going to watch a couple of YouTube videos on how to use one of these programmers. I'll put some links to the videos I find useful down below, but basically I'm going to try and program this chip so it tricks the system to thinking we don't need this area. It kind of treats it as like a Neo Geo AES, which is their home system. It gets rid of the credits and it gets rid of other things there, so we'll put that in if we can for now. I do want to come back and visit and swap these out because I do want it working as originally as it can be as well. So if we do get this working today, it's only a part 1. There will be a part 2 once I've ordered these chips in and a battery replacement holder if I haven't got one already. So okay, so let me get on with this. Next thing I'm going to do is take it across to the PC. We're going to try and figure this out, try and write this chip, and then we'll come back over and slot this chip in, and then we'll get everything sorted and hopefully test it out on the system. Cool. Okay, so we programmed our BIOS, went on the new chip now, so basically all we're going to do is swap this one for this one. Hopefully it all goes straight forward and we can just swap the two out. Basically all we're going to need to do, I'm going to use my X-clamp removal tool which I got for my Xboxes, and I use the tip end of this to try and pry up this chip nice and softly without bending any pins, because we never know whether this has got to go back in at any point. There we go. So that chip is removed. We've got to make sure we know which end of the notch is. I'm going to keep that for future. Then we're going to pop this one in, line it up nice and neatly, then we're going to push it down, and we're in place. So really now all I'm going to do is put it back together, and then we can test it on the system to see if this new BIOS is working. I'm going to order these chips out and a new battery for it, but hopefully we'll be able to bypass this area just by having this new chip in. So let's give that a go. Cool. Okay, so I'm back over at the arcade machine. I've rebuilt the system. It's all back in this casing. I've given it a little clean, but I'll do a proper clean once I take it apart again. Let's try put the cartridge in first of all. So on the Neo Geo, there's an arrow on the board, on the plastic, and there's an arrow on the board as well. And they've got to match up when you slot in your game cart. Quite tough. And then we're going to plug in our Jamma. So let's plug the Jamma in. Okay, so Jamma's on. Let's put that down there. Do like we did earlier. Let's power on the system. Okay, so we've got a red light inside of there. That's all good. Will we have anything come up on here now? Okay, so there we go. totally different message now coming up on screen. So it's a different kind of message, same error, so same address, write and read is still the same issue, but now we have a resume, a menu view, and a force to a yes. So I don't know which button's which on my system, so I'm guessing red is A, B it's going to force to AES, which is probably white, and I don't think I got a D, so I've only got 3 buttons set up on this cabinet, so I need to get a 4th button option set up on here. So I think what we're going to do we resume or do we force to AES? Let's force to AES first. Let's try B. Universe BIOS. Amazing. So we're up and running again. So this now is in AES mode, so really it shouldn't need any coins to credit it up. So if you've not seen King of Monsters before, absolutely amazing game. So let's... yeah. So that's working nice.
Reporting from the side of Tokyo. The catastrophe hasn't ended yet. It's too late to escape.
Cool. Okay, so there we have it. Really successful. I'm really chuffed that this is back up and running. It's only a part 1, as I said. I'm going to order those chips. I've rebuilt it without jotting down what they are, but I can just about see them through the case. So I'm going to get a light on that in a second, and a pair of glasses because I can't read that. Write down what those 2 RAM chips are, and I'm going to order those in, and then we'll change the battery and do those RAM chips in another video, because I'll be fixing this to a decent level then. So at the moment I can play my games again, which is absolutely amazing. I'm playing that King of Fighters in AES mode, so there's no credits anymore. You don't have to put in coins and things. I always had it on free play anyway, but you don't have to do that, and it's basically treating this as a home console now. So there's loads of other things you can do with the Universe BIOS. Maybe I'll do another video of that in the future, but at the moment I'm just chuffed that my system's up and running again. I can play my MVS cards, and yeah, I'm going to have another blast on King of Fighters now. Cool. So thank you for watching. There will be a part 2 of this. If you haven't done so before, drop a subscription down below. Doesn't cost a penny, helps out the channel, and give this video a comment and a like. Cool. Catch you in the next one.